Welcome back as we bring the outside garden inside to focus in on one of the most beautiful seasonal fruits, certainly down here in the Cape, the strawberry. Ben is very proud of the produce that we've got going outside. We're very proud of you for giving us such a beautiful garden. We're going to be talking about strawberries today, how to grow them and how to harvest them and what the best way of looking after them is. Let's start at the very beginning. How do you start the process?
Okay, well, the first thing is to choose the appropriate space. One of the great things about strawberries is that they can grow in the shade. In fact, they're indigenous to pine forests in Europe. So if you're lucky enough to have some pine trees in your garden, they actually really appreciate the pine needles and that slightly acidic soil. One of the things to consider is they do well in containers. So if you have a small container garden, they will do well, but you need a minimum of 12 plants for you to have a decent harvest. Otherwise, it's going to be nominal and delicious, but just a few strawberries.
That's more decorative than subsistence eating. How do we prepare the soil? What is the ideal condition for our little potted plant here?
Okay, so definitely well-fertilized soil, so well-composted, fairly rich, not too rich. If it's too rich, then you're going to have lots of very big leaves and not that much fruit. It needs to be a well-draining, well-composted soil. Again, it can be a shady spot, but it will need to get some sun in the season. It's the sun that's actually going to set the fruit.
You need to ripen those fruits at some point.
Exactly.
How do we get the acidity right in the soil if we don't happen to have a pine forest in our back garden?
To be honest, it's not essential. You don't exactly have to do a pH test. Good compost will give a good balanced pH, and if you can, again, as I said, if you can get some pine needles. I mean, they're quite easy to come by depending on where you live. Just a little bit of a mulch. The pine needles actually help to protect the fruit from being eaten by slugs and snails and little caterpillars.
Because they've got their own enzymes in there that protect the tree itself. Yeah. When should we be planting them?
They can be planted all year round.
Great.
Obviously, the best time to plant is just before spring. It gives the roots time to set in, gives the plants time to really grow through the spring and then start fruiting early summer.
And there are summer fruits. I mean, you want to adorn your table with them when they are in season. How do we maintain our strawberries? How do we make sure that they are well looked after and keep them pest-free? I know you've mentioned the pine needles are a great deterrent, but how do we look after the strawberries?
One of the best things to do, and I've mentioned this throughout the shows, is companion planting. So what do you plant with your strawberries? Things like lettuces, spring onions, spinach, those are good companions. Borage is another really great one. With strawberries, there's actually a number of no-nos. There are a number of plants that don't like to grow with, so that's very important. Gladioles, it's an absolute no-no. If you have a gladiole and a strawberry in the same garden, basically your strawberries are going to
I was going to say, who's going to win the fight?
The strawberries are going to lose that one. What else? Strong-smelling herbs, which are normally great companions. Strawberries don't really like being too close to thyme, rosemary.
So they're quite a wild plant, actually. They're not traditionally a garden fruit. You know, it's something that is wild.
That's a good comment. It's absolutely true. They're very prolific. They're actually quite easy to grow, and they are wild in that they send out little runners, and then they root themselves, and so just a few plants will turn into a lot of plants, which is always nice, and you can share them with your friends.
100%. All right, we've got three beautiful strawberries here at different stages of life. How do we harvest strawberries? When should we be harvesting them? Take us through that part of the process.
Basically, as soon as it's red and looks like a good ripe strawberry, you want to just take that off and eat it. And even if it's slightly overripe, you can try that. I quite like this. My wife and I last night had strawberries just sort of soaked in sugar water for a couple of minutes. I was going to ask what
your favorite mode is. But they really are a blessing of a fruit.
Absolutely.
I'm going to steal that one.
Yeah.
Ben, thank you so much. Thank you for all of your hard work this year. I know it's going to be a while before we see you again, so Happy New Year, my friend. Thank you very much. We will take good care of our gardens while you are away.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hope you have picked up some very interesting tips. I've certainly learnt a huge amount. We're going to keep our garden growing in abundance. We want to see rooftop gardens across Cape Town, across South Africa this summer. Find the fruit that is in season, find the right way to grow it, and do a little bit of greening yourself right on your backyard, on your roof, on your windowsill, wherever you can find the space. It is as easy as this.